Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the World of Sports podcast. I'm your host for today's show, Jordan Rocco. In case you missed our last episode, our other host, Diego, talked about how the Kentucky Wildcat season is currently going. If you did not watch it, I advise you to give it a look. Trust me, you will not be disappointed. And today we'll be discussing college basketball, but this time it is about a single player. Today I'll be introducing a new segment of ours, which is named, Is He Legit? I feel the title is quite self-explanatory, but I'm still going to explain what it is about. During the college basketball and football season, there's always a few players that put up insane numbers and improve their draft stock, and I will be giving my input on whether I believe that this player will live up to the hype in either the NBA or the NFL. Just look at Anthony Bennett, who was a basketball player. I'm going to assume most of the people watching this just ask themselves, who is he? But if you didn't, then you either have a good memory or are a passionate NBA fan. But he is a bust who was selected by the Cleveland Cavaliers with the first pick of the 2013 NBA draft. Now, he isn't even in the NBA. He plays for the Maine Red Claws in the NBA's minor league, the G League. Bennett is just one of many players that were selected with the top pick in the draft and ended up being a waste of money and had a poor career. With this show, I will be determining whether the player I discuss will be a bust, which means they are not legit, or if they are legit, which means they will live up to the hype and have a decent professional career. Before I begin, we do not own any of the highlights of the videos that are used. The link to the videos we use will be in the description. I know that it gets boring just listening to me, so I try to provide visuals as well. But I do not want to get in trouble with any copyright strikes, so I want to make it clear that we do not own any of the highlights, and all the links to the videos that are used will be in the description. Now, get yourself some popcorn or whatever you like to eat and a drink, and let's decide whether Trae Young is legit or not. Recently, Trae Young has been praised by NBA draft scouts, retired NBA players, and fans of college basketball because of his spectacular performance so far this season. Trae Young has even impressed a two-time MVP Stephen Curry. Many people compare Young and Curry, but personally I really hate hearing college players being compared to NBA players because the NBA is a whole different ballgame and they are going to make a name for themselves rather than just be compared to another player. They shouldn't have to be compared to just another professional, but let me stop talking about that. Let's get back on topic. Let's talk about Young's stats so far this season. The freshman starting point guard for the University of Oklahoma has started all 17 of the games he has played this season. And in 33 minutes a game, he averages 29 points, about 10 assists, 4 rebounds, and 2 steals. Young is a knockdown three-point shooter. He averages 4 three-pointers a game and could strongly be considered the best shooter in his entire class. Young has led the Oklahoma Sooners to a 14-3 record, and I bring this up because Young has been able to get his teammates involved, and he makes them better overall. Young is a legitimate guard. Point guard. He would not be able to play shooting guard due to his size. He is only 6'2", which isn't an issue because that is a pretty decent height for a point guard. Young is electric offensively. I'd consider him, if not the best offensive player in all of college basketball, then definitely top 5. Young leads the nation in assists and points. Yes, both assists and points. The freshman has really had an insane season so far, and there still are quite a few more games left in the season, so it's too early to just call him the best player, but so far, it's been a great season for Trae Young. On December 22nd, Young tied a NCAA record for the most assists in a game with 22 against Northwestern. Now all this makes him sound legit, but just like every prospect, he has his weaknesses. In his most recent game against Kansas State, Young had a career high in turnovers with 12. He hasn't taken care of the ball well, averaging 5 turnovers a game so far this season. Young isn't too good of a defender or good on-ball defender, and although earlier I said he has decent height, his size could be an issue since he has a small build. This could give him trouble when it comes to guarding bigger point guards. He does average 2 steals a game and has quick hands, but from what he has shown so far this season, he'll most likely will not be a great defender in the NBA. If Young wants to have a long career, he needs to put on some more weight so that he can remain durable in the NBA. Although Young has weaknesses that he needs to improve on, If he wants to be a top point guard in the NBA, he will have plenty of time to work on it. He is still very young. He's only 19 years old. Trae Young has shown that he is a one-of-a-kind player and has plenty of potential. The draft stock changes just like seasons. Just for example, one day a player can be projected with the top five, like in the top five. Then, if they perform poorly in the next, let's say, 3 to 5 games, they can drastically drop. The 2018 NBA Draft will take place in Brooklyn, New York, on June 18th, which means Young has plenty of time to continue to raise his draft stock. He is projected to be a top 10 pick, and I believe he'll be selected between the 6th and 20th pick. The team that picks him up will be getting a talented player that is filled with potential. After all this, I have come to a conclusion. I, Jordan Rocco, believe that Trae Young is legit. I feel he has a lot of talent, and if he can stay healthy, he is only going to get better. Remember this in about 3 to 5 years when Young is a top player in the NBA and averages over 20 points a game. Yeah, I went there. I'm predicting that. But this is just what I believe. The NBA is too difficult to predict. You never know what will happen. Literally anything can happen. An injury can happen, anything. I mean, hopefully it doesn't. I really hope that no injury happens, but it's the NBA. Anything can happen. Now make sure, please comment down below which player you think I should talk about next. They can either be in college football or college basketball. But they have to be someone who is hyped up, that you hear a lot about, that is a top prospect. Because the purpose of the show is to decide whether we should believe the hype or just ignore it. It has been a busy week for Diego and I. This is our 4th episode of the week, and we have many more on the way. All we ask from you is to leave a like on this video and all of our previous episodes, and please make sure you subscribe. We also love to talk sports, so if you have anything you'd like for us to talk about or talk to us about, please comment down below. This was episode 6 of the World of Sports podcast. I'm Jordan Rocco, and I'm signing out. Thank you for watching.